Hey, what's up you guys? So Gotham Knights just debuted a 16-minute gameplay via IGN, which shows off the early segments of the game and the first mission that you'll go on following the prologue. And I wanted to go through the video and see if there was anything cool I could find, like little Easter eggs and whatnot, because those were always some of my favorite parts of the Arkham games, because Rocksteady would always include little Easter eggs, whether it be like in the names of buildings and whatnot. And I just wanted to look and see if in this video, if there was anything that I could find. So early on in the video, we see that the Gotham Knights are meeting in some sort of cemetery, and we see in the background that the tombstone reads Bruce Wayne, so definitively Bruce Wayne has, quote, died. That remains to be seen whether they actually carried it out, but for the sake of the story, the characters believe he's dead, and there is a tombstone establishing that. And the next one I wanted to talk about was Gotham University, which isn't really an Easter egg because it's plainly seen and they tell us in the video, but it's cool because we've seen this in animated series and whatnot, and it's where Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon went to school, and also where Jonathan Crane taught. And we'll learn from the video that it's where Dr. Kirk Langstrom is actually a researcher at. Which brings us to our next Easter egg, which is Dr. Kirk Langstrom, who we know as Man-Bat, but in this continuity doesn't seem to have transformed yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they play with that and whether we actually get to see him be the villain, because in this video it says that he's dead, but it remains to be seen because I feel like it's too much of a tease if they just show Dr. Kirk Langstrom but don't give us Man-Bat. And moving along, I noticed in this scene that the location was Moulton's Hall, which may be a reference or a dedication to William Moulton Marston, who was the creator of Wonder Woman. And this might be a recurring theme because I feel like, just like in real life, these halls might be a dedication to creators within DC Comics, because there are a few others that have names reminiscent of DC comic creators, which we'll get into later. And for the next Easter egg, when Batgirl enters this room, we see a few paintings, and if you look closely, the one on the furthest left, it looks like an actual Talon from the Court of Owls, while the one to the right looks like a woman with a Court of Owls mask, and then the next photo looks like it's also of a mask, and then in the very bottom right corner, we see a painting with heads, but also at the bottom is an owl. So this seems to have some allusion to the Court of Owls, maybe either a hideout or it's just some artwork for them. And I thought it was an interesting touch. And when we head into Langstrom's lab, we see quite a few things. First, we see that he has a poster of the Grey Ghost, which is notable if you've seen Batman the Animated Series, and he's even made appearances as Easter eggs in the Arkham series. But the Grey Ghost is the childhood hero of Batman in the animated series from a fantastic episode. And the Grey Ghost in that cartoon is voiced by none other than Adam West. So it's a nice, cool little Easter egg. And in Langstrom's lab, we see that he is indeed studying bats because he has an image of a bat flight cycle, which is a cool little touch. And I, like I said, hope we do get to expand on his character, because I would be really disappointed if we find out that he's just dead. And again, while also in this lab, we see that there are x-rays of an upper chest area and also the left shoulder, which are pretty key areas I would think to focus on if you're doing research in developing wings and for flight. So just evidence that gives credence to the fact that Langstrom is definitely working on becoming Man-Bat. And moving along, we see that Batgirl visits Hummel Hall, which may be a callback to the first female writer for Wonder Woman in 1944, named Joy Hummel. And this is another callback to a writer on Wonder Woman, which is just a strange coincidence if it wasn't intended. And then following that, we also journey to Woolfolk Hall, which may be a nod to Dorothy Woolfolk, who was the first female editor at DC and who helped create Kryptonite in the Superman mythos. And like I said, I'd be surprised if these names were just picked randomly and didn't have any relationship to DC, because these are pretty substantial figures in the character's mythos and just their creative history. And just from past experience, we know in the Arkham games that those developers like to use names of iconic characters or people from the character's history and include them throughout the games, so I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up on this tradition and kept it in too. And lastly, we can likely assume that the Freaks are part of Harley's gang, based on the red color scheme and the fact that the Big Brute uses a shield that says Harley was here, and in the bottom left corner, it includes Harley's diamond pattern. And that was about all of the Easter eggs I could find in this gameplay video, but if you guys found anything, please leave it in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. That way I can bring you future Gotham Knights content and Easter egg videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.